Welcome to Flow. Let's get started. Today we'll start off in a kneeling position. Bring your hands to rest on your thighs with your palms facing down or up. Allow your eyes to close or find a soft gaze. And start to bring your focus and your awareness inward into your breath. With every inhale, allow your rib cage to expand side to side. And with every exhale, feel yourself a little more rooted and grounded into the mat. Bring your hands behind your head, open your elbows wide, and then start to move through an upright cat-cow. So on your inhale, pull the elbows back, find a little arch through your spine, and then on your exhale, pull your chin to your chest and bring your elbows together. And we take this about 5 times, just moving with breath, finding a little more movement through the spine. With your inhale, lift your heart up towards the ceiling. And with your exhale, find this deep contraction, chin to chest. And just continue to move at your own breath with your own pace. And then slowly release. Bring your hands down and bring your right arm out to the side. Reach your left arm up overhead as you lift your hips. And then swirl this around to the other side. So the left hand can come down and the hips will lift up. And just continue to move side to side in this kind of circular fashion, starting to get a lot more open through the spine. And you can linger a little bit longer. Maybe if you want to linger with your hips up, or you can kind of linger in this forward fold as well if that contraction feels better for you. Every inhale, press your hips up, open your heart. And on your exhale, lower your hips and swirl yourself around. And take this movement once more to the right, and once more up and over to the left. And then bring yourself back. Crawl your hands out in front of you. Come to a tabletop position. From your tabletop, extend your right leg back long behind you, and then reach your left fingertips forward. Now lift your hand and your foot up off the mat, and then bring your hand out to the left diagonal and your foot out to the right diagonal. Continue to press down into your right hand, and then pull your elbow to your knee for a diagonal bird dog. So you're shooting your leg and your arm out to your diagonal. And we're gonna take this about 5 times on this one side. Feel the contraction, the pull of elbow to knee. And after your 5th side, hold your diagonal, breathe there, and then release your hand down and your knee down. And we'll set up the opposite side. Extend your left leg back long behind you, reach your right arm in front of you, lift your arm and your leg up off the mat, and then switch everything to your diagonal. Pull your fingertips away from your back foot. Now pull your elbow to your knee, and on your inhale, extend. And we take this about 5 times, starting to challenge through your core, through your balance. Continue to stay pressed down into your left hand. Continue to match breath to movement. And then after your 5th set, extend your arm, extend your leg, and hold there for about 5 seconds. And then slowly release your hand down, release your knee down, back to tabletop. And now walk your hands back towards your feet, send your hips to your heels. We're coming into a half camel. Bring your fingertips or your hands down to the mat, lift your hips up, option to drop your head if that feels comfortable. And then slowly lower your hips, travel your fingertips back forward, flip your toes, and find a downward facing dog. And take a few moments in this downward facing dog if you'd like to pedal through your feet. And then try to energize your heels down to the ground. Feel that nice stretch all along the backs of your legs. Bring your gaze between your hands and start to walk your feet forward. Separate your feet about hips width distance, ragdoll pose, fold your body over. Give yourself a few moments here if you'd like to rock from side to side. Bend your knees a little bit deeper and slowly roll yourself up to stand, 1 vertebrae at a time. Your shoulders, chin, and gaze will be last to arrive. Reach your arms up, find a little bit of a back bend, lift your heart toward the ceiling. Bring your hands to heart center for your forward fold. Bend your knees and find a halfway lift, and then bring your hands to the nape of your neck. Interlace your fingers, try to pull your skull forward, really lengthen through the neck here, nice and long through your flat back. And then on your exhale, release your head, release your hands. Step your feet back into a high plank position. Take a few moments of breath here just to start to build a little more heat in your core. Actively press your palms into the ground and then lower your knees down and start to travel your fingertips back towards your toes. Press into your finger pads or your palms as you lift the hips up. Option to drop your head here. And then lower your hips, slide your fingertips back forward, move to downward facing dog. We're going to take that sequence a couple more times, moving a little bit quicker. Bring your gaze between your fingers and then step, or you could hop your feet forward to your ragdoll pose. Bend your knees and slowly roll yourself up to stand. Think of stacking through the spine. Reach your arms up overhead. Find a little back bend here. Lift your heart open towards the ceiling. Bring your hands to heart center. Bend your knees, forward fold. Bring your hands behind your head. Halfway lift, elbows wide, neck is long. Exhale, forward fold, release. Step your feet back, high plank. Pause for a few moments in your high plank. Actively press into the ground. And then lower your knees down to your mat. Slide your fingertips so they come behind your feet. And find your half camel with your fingertips pressing down. Lift the hips, option to drop your head here. And then lower your hips to your heels. Slide yourself back forward, downward facing dog. One final time. On your inhale, bring your gaze forward and step or hop your feet up towards your fingers. Separate your feet, bend your knees, and slowly roll yourself up to stand. Reach your arms up overhead. Find a little back bend. Lift your heart open. On your exhale, hands to heart center. Bend your knees, forward fold. Bring your hands behind your head. Inhale, halfway lift. Elbows are wide. Exhale, forward fold. Bring your hands down. Step your feet back, high plank. Pause and breathe here. Give yourself about 3 big breaths. Let energy shoot out of the crown of your head and out of your heels. And then lower your knees down to the ground. Travel your hands back towards your feet. Press your finger pads down to lift your hips. Drop your head, open your chest. On your exhale, lower the hips. Slide your hands back forward. Move back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right leg high. And on your exhale, step your right foot so it comes between your hands. And then lower your back knee down to the mat. Now bring your hands once again behind your neck. Interlace your fingers and bring your elbows out wide. Flip your back toes, and from here, lift your back knee up off the ground and extend your arms right up overhead. Straighten both of your legs. And then rebend both of your knees and bring your hands behind your head. And we're going to take this 5 times total, just moving to a little bit of a balance challenge here. Make sure that your front knee continues to track right over your ankle and your toes. And you can barely tap your back knee down to the ground. Try not to bring too much weight into your back knee. Stay nice and tall through your upper body. Try to keep your elbows wide. After your final set, stay low. Elbows are wide and shift your torso forward and launch off of your back foot into an airplane pose. Try to square your 2 hips down to the ground. Keep your elbows wide. Now, option to keep the hands there or option to stretch them out long in front of you for a full warrior 3. Try to get as straight as you can behind your back left knee. Bend your bottom knee a little bit deeper. Open up to a warrior 2 with your hands behind your head and your elbows wide. So your front knee is really tracking over your toes. Now from this warrior 2, point your right elbow down towards your right knee. Try to lift your left elbow towards the ceiling and then reverse it. Take yourself up and back. I want to move through this a few more times, moving through your extended side angle with your hands behind your head and then back to your reverse warrior. Maintain a nice deep bend through your front right knee. Feeling nice and long through the back of your neck. Now bring yourself back to a warrior 2. And from your warrior 2, straighten through your front leg and then swivel your toes. So all of your toes are facing forward. Keep your elbows out wide, lengthen up tall, and on your exhale, forward fold. Try to find a flat spine. You can have a little bend with your knees and then release yourself all the way down. Your elbows can pull in and you can create a little more traction through the back of your neck. Just let yourself hang heavy for a moment. come into a little exercise from here. Open your elbows wide again. Bring yourself back up to your flat spine. Soften through your knees. Now twist. Rotate so your right elbow's up to the ceiling. Bring your left hand down to the ground. Try to rotate that elbow up a little more. And then option here to extend your right arm up into the air. You can have a bend through your knees. Find this twist through your chest. And then bring both hands back behind your head. Find your flat spine again. And we move this the other way. Rotate your left elbow up towards the ceiling. Bring your right hand down. And with that hand down, try to lift your left elbow even more up towards your ceiling. And then an option to reach the left arm up. Really find this twist, kind of ring out through the torso. And then slowly release. Bring both of your hands down. Crawl yourself back to your front right foot so you're in a low lunge. And then come back to downward facing dog. We'll set everything up on your second side. On your inhale, lift your left leg high. And then step your left foot so it comes between your hands. Lower your back knee down to the mat and bring your hands to the nape of your neck. Open your elbows nice and wide. Flip your back toes. Power down into your back foot so much that the back knee lifts up off the ground. And then you can reach your arms up overhead. Now straighten through both of your legs, lift up tall, and we'll start to move through these two things. Bend both of your knees, open your elbows, and straighten. And make sure that your front knee is truly tracking right over your ankle and right over your toes. We'll take this exercise about 5 times total. If you will fall out of it, no big deal. Just try to come right back into it. Try to match your breath to movement. And after your 5th time, stay low, elbows are wide. Now tip your heart space forward and try to launch yourself onto your front left leg for an airplane pose. Let your elbows be wide here. Try to square your right hip down to the mat. Option to keep your hands as is, or you can reach them long in front of you for your version of a warrior 3. Find what works best for you. Feel this length from your fingertips to your back foot. Bend your bottom knee, warrior 2. Bring your hands back to the nape of your neck, open your elbows wide. And then from here, start to move through these two postures so your left elbow will come down towards your left thigh. Stay low in your legs. And then take a reverse warrior, almost like you're trying to pull your skull away from your spine. And we'll move through this 2 more times. Nice and long through both sides of your waist. Stay really rooted and grounded into both of your feet. And one final set here, moving forwards and backwards. Bring yourself back to center, straighten through your front leg, and then swivel all of your toes so they point the same direction. Keep your hands behind your head. You can have a little bend with your knees, open your elbows wide, and find this flat spine again. Feel your hips go back as your heart comes forward and down. And then you can let your elbows close and just hang yourself nice and heavy here. Maybe you take a gentle sway from side to side. Give yourself a few more moments of breath. And then open your elbows wide again and bring yourself back to your flat back. We're gonna move into this rotation once again. Rotate so your left elbow points to the ceiling. Really try to twist yourself over. Now bring your right hand down to the ground and then twist your left elbow up a little bit more, like you're wringing out through your upper torso. And now reach your left hand up towards the ceiling as well. You can always maintain a bend with your knees. And then slowly bring yourself back so your hands are behind your head, your elbows are wide. Take a nice big breath in, and we twist the other way. So the right elbow is pointing up, the left elbow is pointing down. Bring your left hand to the ground, try to point the elbow up a little more, find that twist. Reach your arm back up towards your ceiling, the right arm. Nice big breath in through your twist. And then release, both of your hands come down. Crawl yourself over towards your left leg, you're in a low lunge. And move to downward facing dog. Give yourself one more big breath in this downward facing dog. And then start to roll yourself forward to a high plank position. From high plank, bend your elbows and come all the way down onto your belly. Flip to the tops of your feet. Bring your hands to the base of your skull. Open your elbows wide and let your elbows fall to the ground. We're going to take a little back strengthening as a progression. Keep your head down, lift only your elbows, and stay there. So you'll start to feel activation between your shoulder blades. Pause and breathe. And now adding on. Keep your elbows lifted and lift your head and your chest, but your feet will stay down for the moment. Think of finding traction through the back of your neck, and when you're ready, lift your feet up off the ground and stay here. Breathe here. Stretch your arms long in front of you. Think length before height. Pull the fingers away from the toes. Give yourself one more big breath. And on your exhale, lower all the way down. Release yourself down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders and flip onto your back, however you need to bring yourself onto your back. Pull your knees into your chest. Give yourself a tight squeeze. Grab hold of fingers or wrists or forearms. Maybe take a gentle rock from side to side if that feels good. And then extend your legs long and heavy in front of you. Interlace your fingers for the last time at the base of your skull, and then lift your head up off the ground, and you can find a little bit of side-to-side movement. Just kind of a final moment to stretch through the neck and find a little more length. And then when you're ready, gently lower your neck down and your head down to the ground and release your arms down by your side. Allow your eyes to close or find a soft gaze. And just take these final moments to come back inside. Notice and acknowledge any physical shifts that you might feel, and just sink into your breath. Thank you for joining us today. And that's your flow.